Disney friends, it's Amber with Mickey Travels. I had a request to do a video strictly on the different categories of resorts, so today I'm going to break down Disney's value resorts, so stay tuned.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
There are lots of positives and negatives that go with staying at a value resort. I want to break those down with you here. I also want to talk to you about some updates and all the amenities that are included to hopefully convince you if this is a really good location for you and your family. So first, let's go through what are the value resorts. So Disney has what are considered 5 value resorts, one being a value plus. The all-star resorts, which are movies, music, and sports, would be considered your cheapest of the 5. Next would be Pop Century, and then as far as the value plus would be the art of animation. This is considered a value plus because the price is the highest of all of them, and they do offer multiple room options, which I'll cover later in the video. What are some of the amenities that value resorts offer? All of the value resorts have multiple pools, and they are all heated. They may not be open full time because of refurbishments, but keep in mind that you can swim in them year-round because they are heated. There are no slides at any of the value resort pools, nor are there any hot tubs, but they do offer showers, lockers, restrooms, lifeguards, and then there is a bar, which is a quick service located next to it. Each resort has one main pool and then smaller pools in different wings of the resort. All of the value resorts also have a food court, which take quick service credits for most of their meals and snack credits for most of their snacks. These are going to be like a cafeteria style with multiple options to choose from and refrigerators filled with drinks, and you just pick out what you want and then go to the cashier. All rooms at value resorts have mini fridges, irons, and your basic needs as far as regular hotel rooms. You can request a pack and play at all of the resorts as well. And the pack and play is just like a smaller bed for children that are 2 and under. All of the resorts feature movies under the stars every night, where you can watch a different Disney movie outside near the pool area every night, and it's free. There is an arcade at all of the resorts. You do get a set amount of tokens with your Disney World package that is on a card that you can cash in once you get to the resort. And all of them also feature a laundromat where you can do your own laundry, but if you need some dry cleaning, that service can also be provided. Some people complain about the value resorts being older and very crowded, but here are some updates that have been happening with the resorts. There have been some refurbishments that are happening, specifically Pop Century. All of the rooms have been refurbished to feature 2 queen beds and hardwood floors. Here are some pictures of some of the recently refurbed Pop Century rooms. The All-Star Movies is currently also refurbishing their rooms, and here is a look at what those are going to look like. And then the All-Star Music is also refurbing their rooms, specifically their family suites, to update those, and here are some images of what those are looking like. Other updates that are happening with the value resorts is the new Disney Skyliner, which has 2 stops at 2 of the value resorts, Pop Century and Art of Animation. In addition to being able to take a bus to the Disney parks, you're now going to be able to take the gondola system that's in the sky, the Skyliner. And this will take you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, as well as the Caribbean Beach Resort and the new Riviera Resort. This is going to be a really cool, unique opportunity for you because not many people who stay at the other resorts get to experience it since it's only at 4 of the resorts, 2 of them being value. So this is going to be, again, in addition to the bus transportation, and will save you time if you're going to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. What do people dislike the most about value resorts? So I'll give you my dislikes that I've heard, and then I'll end on a positive with all of the likes that most of my clients talk about when booking these resorts. And I can tell you that I personally have stayed at value resorts multiple times and do enjoy them. Number 1 for a dislike, they tend to be loud. The value resorts have more rooms than a majority of the other Disney properties, so more guests stay there, specifically if they are in large groups, say for sporting events like cheer and dance. So they tend to be a lot louder just because there's more people. There are quiet hours. The pools do close late evening. So if you do not want to be near a noisy room, just be sure you are not near the pools, and you can put that in as a request. And maybe in an outer building that's facing the water. Specifically in Pop Century, you can see Art of Animation, and those rooms on that backside tend to be quieter. A lot of people don't necessarily like the room size and that there is an outdoor entrance. Keep in mind this is a value resort, so the rooms are going to be the smallest out of the 3 categories. It does have enough room for the 2 beds, the mini fridge, the TV, the dresser, and a bathroom and vanity area. And most people will say, well, I'm not in the room that much anyway, I'm at the parks. It doesn't matter as long as there's room for me to sleep and to put my luggage. The outdoor exterior is going to be a value resort and moderate resort theme. So if you don't like having the exterior entrance and want an inside, maybe you should consider a deluxe resort. A lot of people dislike that the standard rooms at value resorts can only sleep 4. There is a way around that, and I will discuss that later on. But if you have a family of 5 or larger, you cannot only just be in one room unless one of the 5 is under 2 or 2 and under. But you would have to have 2 rooms at a value resort. A lot of the value resorts currently have double beds, which are a lot smaller than maybe you're used to. So with the refurbishments that are happening, those are all going to be switching out to queens eventually, but keep in mind that a lot of the values still have double beds, 2 double beds. And lastly, on the dislike list, there is only one location as far as pickup for buses. Those tend to be crowded, and the buses in general are crowded because there's more people at those resorts. And so they do typically have to wait a little longer at both the parks and at the resort for a bus stop. That's the way it is with Disney sometimes. I've stayed at all 3 levels and have noticed that buses are very similar in all ranges, and I haven't personally noticed that the value resorts had longer waits, but a lot of people have expressed that to me. So if you're going during a very busy time or going when there's a large group there, you may have bus issues. And that's an ongoing issue for all of the types of levels. All right, what do we love about the value resorts? Number 1, cost. Obviously, being a value, they are going to be more affordable for families. Typically right now, I'm seeing that rooms per night are going to range anywhere from about $100 a night to about $250 per night. And that would be with the All-Stars up to Art of Animation. Now, there are suites available at the value resorts that aren't included in that price. They are a little higher, about $350, $400 a night. These resorts are super kid-friendly as far as theming. There's a Disney explosion everywhere, and there are multiple opportunities for finding hidden Mickeys and finding little pieces of Disney all over the place. For example, at the All-Star Music, each themed area, which would be like jazz, calypso, etc., different types of music, have Disney characters within those areas. Pop Century is based on decades, and so there are Disney films within each decade. And then within the rooms themselves, you're gonna see Disney characters as far as the paintings and room decor on the headboards. So Disney is everywhere. And some people want that. They're going to Disney and they want it in your face. Sometimes you don't want it. You just want a nice, elegant place to put your head down at night. So again, if you don't want Disney in your face all the time, then you might want to consider a moderate or deluxe resort. So I had room capacity as a dislike, but I also have room capacity as a like. Value resorts feature 2 resorts that have family suites, which can sleep 6 or less. And these family suites feature 1 queen bedroom and then 2 doubles we have 1 in the living room and then 1 in the dining room. That's like a Murphy bed that you can pull down. And then the highlight of this is that there are 2 bathrooms in these family suites. And with All-Star Music now getting renovated, I typically am leaning guests to the All-Star Music versus Art of Animation just because All-Star Music are a little cheaper as far as family suites. These suites are super cute. The Art of Animation ones are themed to Finding Nemo, Lion King, and Cars. And here are some pictures of those suites. I know I've done a video previously over this, but these are just incredibly adorable. If you have large families going with maybe 15 people or so, and you want to do a couple suites and a couple standard rooms, keep in mind that the suites are all in their own buildings and may not necessarily have standard rooms next to them if you want to be connected. And lastly, like I said earlier, this is going to be considered why people love it so much. is there is availability often with the value resorts because there's more rooms there. So it's very easy to find availability at the 5 resorts compared to maybe specifically if you want a certain room at the Polynesian. Those rooms are more expensive and tend to sell out quickly, while value usually typically has something available, with the exception of course, the peak seasons such as spring break or Christmas. Rooms all over the place are going to be sold out. But it is easy to find availability there, and I'm hoping that this is going to encourage you to consider a value, specifically if you're on a budget and wanting to go to Disney World. So how would you compare it to a good neighbor? So sometimes I'll quote a value resort for a family and they want everything included, meals for a 6-night stay, park tickets, etc., and that's still too high for them. In comparison, the Good Neighbor hotels, which are off property, are going to be very similar in price. They will have more amenities, but they're off property. Keep in mind, so you won't have some of the nice amenities such as having that transportation and being closer to the park, etc. You may also have to pay a higher parking fee. Price-wise, you're going to be looking at very similar. So if it's equal to you having an off-property versus on-property stay, it just makes more sense that you stay on property to be a part of the Disney magic. I do have a video of my stay at the Art of Animation on this channel if you're interested in more on that. And coming soon, I will hopefully have more videos devoted to some of the resorts. I hope this information was helpful for you. If you're interested in using my planning services, please contact me. My info is below. I would love to work with you and help make your next Disney vacation a dream come true. Have a magical day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.